Hey,
All right, welcome back to This Week at Church 520 for the weekend recap.
Yeah,
Excuse me. Had a little bubs.
Church 520
Bubbly waters.
recap.
So, thank you for joining. We are going to recap the week that we had this week at church.
Yes.
If you like this kind of content, go ahead and like it, subscribe, all the fun stuff. And if you want just a lighthearted approach to some scripture that is focused in the just on what it says, take it literal, then that's kind of what we're doing here. So we're continuing in on the series that we have been doing of character studies, and we've just kind of been stuck on David for a while because there's a lot in there about David.
We're in the Samuels.
We are in a we started off with Samuel, and it just kind of bled right into David.
Samuel.
Right? Bled right into David, so we're just kind of like looking at David's life, and right now it's a whole lot of like not good things. We had left off last time we talked. It's been a minute. It's been a couple weeks because we had a week off because of Mother's Day, and then the next week I was not feeling well.
Yeah.
So,
but he's better now, everybody.
I am feeling better. So yeah, it's been a minute, but last time we talked, we saw that Absalom had been brought back from Jeshurun, right? Yep. From his hiatus of brother doing bad thing, him killing his brother,
Yes.
David finally bringing his other son back.
But he said, don't let him see my face.
Right.
I don't want to see him.
That's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And we can get in here. We're going to be in 2 Samuel. We're starting in verse 25. Verse 25 in chapter 14. And this is just going to be a paraphrase. I'm going to scroll down as we're going through it. That way you can read it for yourself. Also, I mean, if you have your Bible with you, fantastic, right?
Yeah.
So either way, you can look at what it 100% says for our paraphrase. If you want 100% of what it says, you can always join us in person.
For sure.
Where we do go over stuff verse by verse.
For real.
All right. So now Absalom is back in Jerusalem with David. However, they have not seen each other. Okay. He didn't want to see his face. So here we start. We find out that Absalom is quite the handsome person.
Yeah. More handsome than anyone.
Not a blemish on him. Got so much hair, he's got to cut it every year. About 200 shekels worth.
What was that, 5 pounds?
Yeah, it was about 5
pounds. 5 pounds of hair every single year.
And good for him. Gets it off his shoulders, right? And then he also had some sons and a daughter who he named Tamar, and she was beautiful.
After his sister.
It was after his sister, which was quite nice, right?
And she was beautiful, it says.
So now Absalom had been in Jerusalem, in town, for 2 years and still hadn't seen his father.
Weird.
Right? So he keeps trying to get Joab, who is kind of David's right-hand military guy.
Yeah.
To get him in front of David, and Joab ignores him.
Yeah. Repeatedly.
So Absalom goes, I know what to do. And sets Joab's field on fire.
Sometimes the ideas you have are not good ideas.
Right. You don't need to necessarily act on every intrusive thought.
Yeah. Maybe don't set someone's field on fire to get attention. That's a very pick me problem.
But it did get his attention.
It did, but not like...
Joab did finally come to his house, and they kind of had an exchange, and Absalom was like, hey, man, why am I here? I would have been better off still in Jeshurun.
Yeah.
So, and then let me see the king. And if he finds fault in me, he can execute me.
Yeah. So
Joab says, sure. And takes him in front of the king. Absalom bows, does all the respectful things when he gets there. and David kisses Absalom, which is big, right? Because this is not just like a, hey, I love you. It symbolizes forgiveness.
Yeah. Like the prodigal son and his dad.
Right. Like the prodigal son and his dad. And there's a few others that do the same thing where this is like a forgiveness thing.
Yeah.
However, you can already see the next title. Just because David forgave Absalom doesn't mean Absalom's ready to bury the hatchet.
No.
And you would think by some of his actions that he would have been ready to bury the hatchet, like constantly wanting to go in front of his dad, but it's almost like he had some deep-seated anger.
Yeah, he was bitter and he let it fester and he never took care of it. Yep. And now you get to see the bitter tree that's happening.
Yep.
Get ready, guys.
So anyway, after they have their pleasantries, right, and Absalom's forgiven, he gets some stuff, right? He gets some horses and some men and whatnot. And then he decides to rise early and go and stand by the gate. And as he's standing by the gate, there would be people that would come to the city in order to have their disputes, their lawsuits heard.
Right.
And as they were coming up, and these were people from the tribes of Israel, right? And as they were come up, he would say, hey, tell me what's going on with you. They would tell him what's going on with him. And he's like, well, if I had power, I would do this. And if I could do that, I would do this. And really,
so skeezy.
It is. And what he was doing is he was playing the politician game and really winning the hearts of the people of Israel. Kind of like playing on their emotions of one, like, hey man, I really feel for you, because if I had any types of power, I would, side with you. I
would help take care of it for you.
So and Absalom definitely stole the hearts of the men of Israel, right? And it came to pass after 40 years of him doing this, of sowing the seeds. Sowing the seeds.
You would think he'd know.
You would think he would know. But he goes and asks David, hey, can I go to Hebron? This is so crazy to me, because maybe I need to do more studying, but it's crazy to me. So 40 years has passed. 42 years has passed since he was in Jeshurun, right? And he goes to David.
Got to be pretty old at this point.
He goes to David and says, hey, let me go to Hebron and pay for the vow that I took while I was in Jeshurun. So 42 years prior, at least, for this vow, right?
Why he didn't go any other time?
Right. Because look at the reasoning. It says, if the Lord indeed brings me back to Jerusalem, then I will serve the Lord.
That
what have you been doing? What have you been doing for 42 years? Well, no,
that was the vow.
Yes.
While he was in Gesher. So, but he's been back for 42 years.
Why is it taking this long to go pay it? Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Got yourself, what I say earlier, 50 chariots or 50 horses or something. You're fine. Go do it now.
Yeah. So
it's an excuse. Be careful. Don't get excited, everybody.
Anyway, so David agrees and says, go in peace. So he went out, and also he sent spies. So because he's been getting all this political capital with everybody around him, he sent out spies to the rest of Israel, right? And also took with him a couple hundred men. Somehow it says that they didn't know anything. They went in innocence.
Yeah, they were like, oh, we're going to go with you to Hebron? Cool.
Right. So, and he also took one of David's counselors with him. Right. So that he could go do his thing And as the spies went out and did their thing, right? The Wait a minute.
They gave him a sign.
Yes.
That when they hear the trumpet, they're to yell a specific thing. What is that?
Absalom reigns in Hebron. And
treacherous.
It is very treacherous. So as this happened, everything goes crazy. The trumpet sounds, it's announced. David hears about it. He's like, oh crap. He's got the hearts of the men.
Uh-oh.
So
it's time to go, boys.
Essentially, David says, we out. Right? And he takes a bunch of people with him and they leave. And there was a guy that was a Gittite, and he was coming with him, and he's like, nope, not you. You just got here. I don't know where I'm going to end up. So don't follow me. And the guy was like, nah, bro, wherever you go, I go.
Yeah. So sweet.
Right. So he said, okay, fine. And said, come on. So with that, they head over, they cross over, and they're going into the wilderness. And as he's trudging up the Mount of Olives, he runs into a friend that he sends back into Jerusalem to go and be a spy, essentially, for him.
And he's carrying the ark.
Well, he's not carrying the ark.
Is that the one that was carrying the ark? Zadok?
No. So he's not carrying the ark. Right. So you also have two priests that are coming that are actually carrying the Ark of the Covenant. And he says, no, you guys go back. That needs to be in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Right. And
if it be God's will, then I'll come back to it.
Yeah. Right. And you have their sons as well that go back with him. And then he has a friend, Hushai, that he sent back into Jerusalem so that that the sons of the priest can essentially be the runners between David and the information. Right? Because he told Hushai, go and be his servant. Go and find out all the information that you can and report back to me. Right?
Hopefully he doesn't kill these messengers.
Right.
He's been known to kill a lot of messengers, if you recall.
So essentially where we ended up this last week was the fact that David's on the run again.
That kid really likes to keep in shape.
He does really like to keep in shape. So he's on the run again, obviously for more family drama, right? So
and then Absalom came back to Jerusalem.
Yeah, Absalom came back and took what he thought was his, I guess. And so, yeah, that was kind of
people's kids.
Craziness, right? Now, we can tell that it's not really directly related to us. I mean, we do have family issues, right? Humans are still humans, right? But we don't necessarily have to worry about somebody taking over one of our kingships or a royal seat, right?
Yeah.
But there are some timeless truths in here that we can look at. And one of those being is that forgiveness should not be dependent upon the other person's reaction afterwards.
Right.
Right. And we see that all throughout the Bible. In Matthew, Peter's talking to Jesus and he's like, how much must I forgive my brother? And he goes 70 times 7. And, we had a person that said, oh, well, that's this many. Yes. But the intent is
just keep forgiving.
Always, right? Because they're always going to mess up. They're always going to let you down in some form or fashion.
That doesn't mean that you don't have to keep, set boundaries.
Yes.
That's healthy for yourself. But
yes.
To continue forgiving.
Yes, but continual forgiveness, right? And then the same goes for in the body of Christ when you look in the book of Ephesians and the book of Colossians, that we are to work to keep the peace as much as it is possible. Right. And the only way that you can keep peace within the body as much as possible is if you're willing to forgive others. Right. Because either you forgive them or you don't. If you don't forgive them, there won't be peace within the body. Right. Because there'll be a rift between people. And, that's exactly what essentially God is doing for every one of us. I mean, yes, all of the sins and stuff were paid for, but it's still a continual forgiveness in the fact that we still mess up and he still doesn't just walk away.
Yeah.
Right.
I once heard that forgiveness is yes for them, but it's for you. It allows you to release it. It allows you to not have a seed of bitterness that goes into a tree. It is for you.
Well, and I'm sure that was a bit of a relief for David, for forgiving his son, because he killed his other son. Even though his other son did something heinous,
right?
It still was his kid. Right.
Well, he's probably grieving a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, that's hard.
So there's that part. And then also righteous anger can become unrighteous. Right?
Yes, it can.
And in Ephesians, again, it talks about, be angry, but don't let it fester, essentially. And that's exactly what Absalom did.
And David.
At times, yes. But not this time.
Well, he was angry and he didn't talk to his son for 2 years.
Yes.
Which then Absalom was right to be angry that his dad didn't want to see him after bringing him in, but then he let it become unrighteous. Like, they both did it.
Yeah.
And then it became a bigger thing later.
It did. But I just in the way that the way it's all laid out and the way it's told, right? And how long everything has happened. Honestly, I think this is festering from the previous thing. I don't think this is just, I'm going to take over because my dad has ignored me. I'm leaning to the fact that it's festered from previous.
Because he didn't take care of his sister?
Yeah, because he didn't do anything.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. So, yeah, I mean, I could see how it's like, well, you won't even take care of your family, your children.
You didn't take care of it. I went in hiding for a long time. Now I'm back, and you still don't even want anything to do with me.
Yeah.
It took me pleading with your advisor for me to be able to actually come around.
Set fire to the rain to get some attention.
Essentially, yeah.
I had to throw a temper fit to get attention.
Right. So, yeah. And, we can be upset about things that are bad, where people are being taken advantage of and these things, but we need to make sure that we understand that vengeance is God's and that he will take care of everything. Yes, we can be upset and have actions, but we need to make sure that we don't become embittered and it become a sin for us.
Right.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Those are the key takeaways that I saw this last week. We had a fantastic smoked loin for dinner, and people brought the old fixins to go with it. So it was really delish, and we actually got to be out on the patio because it was such so lovely weather.
So nice. I'm excited to eat more out on the patio.
Well, as long as weather holds out like it's supposed to, we should be this weekend as well.
Fingies.
So we'll have to see. And thank you for joining us. If you like content that's like this, it's a little lighter. It's a little just going through the Bible and just talking about some stuff. Go ahead and hit subscribe so that you'll be notified when we post things.
Yeah.
Sure. If you'd like to join us in real life, go ahead and comment, and then we can get a hold of you and let you know all the information. But that is all.
If you have questions,
put
them down there.
Yeah, put them down there. So
if you got questions,
if you got a question, we would love to answer it, right? Because most likely we have also had that same question or still have that question, and we need to research it ourselves anyway.
Yeah.
right? So thank you for joining us, and we will talk to you later.
Bye.